So at this point in time, I hope you guys have done the assignment that I had awarded. So this not awarded, that I had assigned. This is the second video where I'll be talking about strings. I'll talk about function strings. I'll talk about coercion, conversion between a string type and a number type. Boolean, ideally everyone knows Boolean is either true or false. I'll talk about the null, and I'll talk about undefined, as much as we already talked about undefined. Then on the next lesson, that's when we'll be going to conditionals. Yeah, someone in the class had asked about this. When we get here, this is when we'll be talking about what you had asked. So at the moment, let's start with strings. So to make things easy, as much as we've gotten these words that I've put here on the notes, when you type words, yeah, when you type characters, all programming languages consider them strings. Yeah, a string is, let's say, like a line of characters connected together. Yeah, for low level languages like C sharp. C sharp is hashtag C. Even JavaScript to some point, it had characters, yeah. But for JavaScript, this data type, it's called a string of characters, yeah. So it's a connection of different characters. So that's like a high explanation of, okay, it's an explanation of what a string actually is in JavaScript, in main layman's language. Yeah. So anyways, JavaScript operators have precedents and associatives rules, and that determine the order in which they are evaluated, blah blah blah, in a single expression. So this is telling us that JavaScript has a way that it interprets whatever it is that you are writing. Yeah. So there are things that are given priority. Yeah, like there is an order. Yeah. So if there is an order, it comes about over here. Yeah. So the hierarchy of the operations that determine how different operations, whatever. So this is usually how the order works. Yeah. So we'll talk about parentheses. Yeah. You can technically use these parentheses. It's like in mathematics, BODMAS. Yeah. If this in comparison to this, yeah, this one will do this order first, then this. Then I feel like I'm repeating what you've been told throughout your whole lives. Yeah. So this will be evaluated first, then the result you get from there will be that. But this one is different. Yeah. So that's the order. Yeah. So there's something called associative. Yeah. What's associativity? Yeah. This one is associated with this one. Yeah. By associated, I mean this one is first, then this one, since it's first and it's similar, if this was plus and this was plus, this one would have been associated with this, and this one would have been considered something different. Yeah. I don't know, did I miss? I think I missed. Yep, I think I missed, because this is all about operations. Still, this is supposed to be in the operations. This is not strings. I'll correct that, don't worry. Yeah. So that you got to learn nothing about strings, but ideally this is what we talk about when we're talking about strings. I'll make that changes. You can still use the same link. Yeah. So this is actually what string is. It's a built built-in function. By built-in is, it means it's a function that someone already coded it, so you are just using it. It's like that function where you say dot log. Now string has different functions, yeah, and the functions for strings is to change the strings that you had. I told you strings are sentences, yeah, so you're going to do changes or manipulations to those sentences, yeah. So there's this length, it's a length. So you're going to take that variable that holds your string, then you're going to add this dot length. So it's going to be like here, text. The text is hello or hello your name, like we did in our first class, yeah. So you'll take your name and you're going to put dot length. This will tell you how long is this string, that's dot length. To upper, as this function says, it's supposed to convert that string to uppercase, yeah. Hello, it will be converted to uppercase. This to lowercase, it's going to be hello world, lowercase. All of it, it's going to be small. So there's another one, yeah, it's called char art. Like I told you, a string of characters, yeah. So many small characters make up one string. So this is how this one is used. You want to say which is the fourth character, yeah. JavaScript, the array starts at 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. This is the fourth one. So this will be your output. If you console.log character, you can actually do this in your terminals, yeah. So this is technically how this works. So if you're doing substring, it tells you start here and here, yeah. You're going to select which words that you want to see. That's the work of this substring, yeah. Then one of my favorites, there's this one called slice. What's the purpose of slice? The purpose of slice, it's similar to substring in the sense that it cuts out, yeah, a specific side of your string. So if we do this, -6 to -1 of this. So ideally this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if it's -6, negative starts from this side, yeah. So this is -0. Okay, it's 0. -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So it will print out this world, yeah, because this is 1, 1, -1 is the final one. It doesn't start with 0 from the other end. It starts with -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. It prints you that value, yeah, and so on and so forth. That's all about string, yeah. You can use split, you can use like there's a lot. I'll not go through all of this because they're here, yeah. I think the next one I'll actually talk about ES6, yeah, because we have not talked about the naming convention in JavaScript and all that, yeah. So I'll talk about type coercion. So type coercion, as coercion, ideally you guys, if this was a live class, I will be asking you, when you hear coercion, what does coercion mean? So this is where you go and Google what coercion is. Coercion in normal terms, yeah, if you're Googling this, I don't know, yeah, search in Google. If you Google coercion, the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threat. You're making them do this by force, whether they like it or not. That's coercion. So type coercion, we're talking about data types, right? So since we're talking about data types, we're going to be forcing this data type to change it to this other data type. In short, you're putting this string, you're going to convert it into something else, yeah. but most of the time it's usually you have a number, you want to convert it into a string. There's like so many. You want to convert a number into a string. You want to convert a string into an arithmetic operation, and this means you have quote and quote a number inside that quote, not one, not two, because pardon me, most of the time you don't find people doing type coercion in things that are like hello or what, something of the sort. Then there's this comparison operators. Yeah, I told you I'll talk about this in the previous one. Yeah, there's the equal to this one. So there's a difference between this one and when it's three equal signs. When it's three equal signs, you're technically checking if everything is exactly as the other one. When you put two equal signs, it's like when you are trying to see, is this similar? Not exactly similar. With two equal signs, it's more of, is this similar to this? Do they have similar characteristics? But with three equal signs, it's like, is this exactly the same as this? Like, it's very strict. Yeah, this one not equal to. Yeah, I don't think I need to say much about not equal to. So this one and this one. So for this one, it's saying, is this number equal to this string? It will tell you true because this one is 5 and this one is 5. Yeah, but if you check if it's not equal to, actually we should do this in a class. We'll come to class and do this so that you guys can actually get to understand better, but I think right now you have an idea. So there's this truly and falsely. Yeah, now I don't want to talk about loops, so I'll skip this. Yeah, I'll skip that, allow me, but we'll talk about it better in loops. Yeah, we talked about logical operators. Yeah, but we didn't really talk about it in depth. So logical operators is true, false, and, or, and, or, and. It's in the lines of that. Yeah, we'll not talk about functions just yet. Yeah, so this is conversion between strings and a number. So there's this function called parse int. Yeah, and we have a parse float. So the difference between an int and a float, I'd like you guys to Google that. After you've Googled and discovered the answer, I'll come and ask you this question in our class coming up. Yeah. So use parse int and parse float to convert strings to integer, and parse float to convert a string into a floating number. A float means it's a decimal number, but we have a decimal. There's a difference between a float and a decimal. If you guys just go happen to Google the data types and check for the integer, float, you'll check the double, because I remember in class you guys saw me saying big int. Yeah, and I gave you an explanation on how a big int can be. Yeah, ideally I don't expect anyone to be lost at this point in time. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. And the only thing that you can convert most of the time, it's a number that's usually in quotes. This is something that you guys will pay attention to. Yeah, because even here when we were coercing or whatever, this one, okay, it was here a bit higher. Yeah, okay, this one, if it's caused into being okay, this one was caused into being a string over here, and even if it was converted into a string over here, this variable is still a number. And this is actually what I was telling you about. Yeah, this is the only thing that you can change to actually make it an integer. If it's hello there, you can't convert hello unless you want to do some other complex mathematics, of which I don't want to get into. It's some advanced concept. It's not in within our grasp. So a unary operator, like the word itself sounds unary, uniting. Yeah, so a unary operator, it's this that we actually went through in the previous video. We know what this, okay, we don't know what this is, but I'll show you in class what it actually is. But that one is similar to writing this: let num is equals to num plus strnum. Yeah, this is also 456. Yeah, this is similar to this, nothing different, because you are assigning this, you just use this instead. Okay, you just use this instead. This makes your life easier since you don't have to repeat yourself throughout. Yeah, by removing that and that. Yeah, anyways, that's all. Okay, there's more about the strings. We'll have a lesson on specifically ES6. Yeah, so for boolean, it's true or false. Yeah, you're just checking, is this true, is this false? Yeah, this and this, is this true, is it false? We'll get to actually use it better when we're talking about loops and all that. And maybe you can actually look at it in the logical operators by checking, is 1 plus 1 whatever, is 1 true, is it false? Yeah, but I'll show you better. Like I said, this truly and falsely, I'll go about it very well in loops. Anyways, the null, as we conclude, the null. Now, if, I hope nobody gets confused, because ideally you guys have heard me say JavaScript. Yeah, this is where it comes in. So this null technically means this value has been intentionally left to be empty. Yeah, it has been intentionally left to be empty. You'll get to see undefined later. So in JavaScript, null is a special value that represents intentional absence of an object or a value. Yeah, there is a primitive data type. It means it's been there since time immemorial, and it's often used significantly that a variable should not have any meaningful value. Yeah, that's for the null. Okay, I'll not go about it in depth simply because you don't get to use null a lot, but I want you to get the difference between null and undefined. So null and undefined, they both, null can be undefined, but undefined cannot be null. Yeah, this is what I mean. Since they both represent the same, the difference comes with undefined. Undefined is is actually when a variable has not been declared with a value. But a null is used deliberately. Like if you pay attention here, let undefined value. This is undefined and it's also null. But this one is defined to be null. Like this is defined here. You see, is equals to null. This one is null and it's also undefined. Undefined can be null, but null cannot be undefined. That's the only difference. Yeah. I think we're done with today's lesson. I hope you guys got the most value. If you have any questions, we'll be meeting each other soon. Maybe I'll come to the hub tomorrow. So that's all that you guys need to know. I'll be sending you guys a link to the exercise that you guys should be doing after going through today's 2 lessons. Today we had 2 lessons, and after you're done, you can actually either stay in the hub for practice or you can go home. Anyways, that's all for today, folks.